This is Joyce, the voice of Joyce, back like I said I'd be. And this week, I'm answering a question from one of my dear friends on my strategy to defeat Trump. As I pondered that question this morning, it was pretty easy on Twitter to get rid of all my snarkiness. Every article I came across, I noted with great pleasure all of Trump's ineptness and inability to govern. I did it gleefully, so I now know how he must feel doing it day and night, taking target practice verbally against all his opponents. However, I gotta tell you, it wasn't satisfying at all, not even a little, because Trump wasn't there to receive my barbs, and it fell emptily. In fact, Twitter has done a study that says that if you merely write about a person, it's so easy to be vicious. Much more vicious than you would be if you had to say even 10 seconds worth of dialogue. The dialogue puts a face behind those people that you are targeting. In Trump's case, it's still fairly easy for me to look at him objectively and say, I reject him utterly for his despicable, egregious flouting of our laws and for murdering, and I really believe it's murder, of 93,000 people and counting, for the unemployment of 40 million people who didn't need to be unemployed, 93,000 who shouldn't be dead, if he had only listened to the experts. But that's not his way. He's the king, and he respects nobody but himself and whoever he puts in his cabinet who will do his bidding, along with the senators who are of his persuasion, the GOP, and many of the governors. The governors are now finding they've got a problem. They've got a big problem. In Alabama, because they opened up too soon, they have about 12,000 cases and 500 deaths. As we've seen in New York, when you open up too soon, you really can't control the virus. The virus controls you. And so, yes, I hold Trump accountable. He knew in November he had enough presence of mind to tell the Israelis and NATO that a pandemic was coming. Luckily, in England, in Oxford, they were already working on pandemics. And when the pathogen showed itself, they pivoted to trying to find a vaccine. What did we do in our country? The greatest logistic magicians in the world, the people who get farm to table, build bridges in hours, can solve so many logistical problems. We've got nothing. No testing, no tracing, nothing. Not enough equipment to shield our first responders from the hazards of this pathogen. Nothing. And I wonder, is that nothing continuing? Because we need to plan for the winter months, and if it's not a second wave of this pathogen, surely there will be another one. Because the way we've treated our environment ensures us that we will be subject to more and more pathogens. You might as well call it a later day plague, because it's nature's way of saying to man, you've encroached upon my environment, and this is my response. And nobody will be safe. Many will suffer. The economy is suffering, and that didn't have to happen. Korea didn't shut down, but then they tested and they traced their populace. It wasn't like here, where the sick people roam the streets and the healthy ones stay inside for fear for their lives. No, in South Korea, the sick people go inside and the healthy ones continue with maintaining the economy. That's how it should be. Do you think that healthy people like being quarantined? We don't. We don't even a little. And we don't know how long we have to be in quarantine. And when we go outside, we must make sure that we social distance from everyone and we wear a mask. Our president doesn't show good sense. He goes to an assembly plant where Ford Motor Company has done the right thing by its people, making them wear masks and goggles and gloves, and he flaunts his presence without a mask. That is despicable, childish behavior. We need an adult to govern us. We need an adult to be able to direct the leadership of this country. The farmers who I was accusing of slaughtering their hogs rather than bringing it to the marketplaces where people who are hungry could use it, they're in despair because first the price trade wars hurt them. And now they said if somebody had given them a heads up on the pandemic, they could have slowed the feeding process of their hogs and saved them so that they didn't have to go to market now or perish. Where was Trump? Where were all those cabinet people staffing all of those institutions that we have? Well, a lot of them are really busy campaigning for themselves. They're using the public money to make sure that they don't spend one penny of their own funds to promote themselves. That's what the public coffers are for. We might as well all go to elections that cost nothing. Everyone pledge $1, $2 to your income tax return, and then we can stabilize how much money is spent by every candidate for every office in the land. And then you know what? We'd all see the same information. When I see Trump, I think of that poor, honorable man, Lyndon Johnson, and how he suffered for the thousands that were killed in Vietnam. He couldn't run a second term with the chance of, hey, LBJ, how many kids did you kill today? It destroyed LBJ. but nothing destroys this egomaniacal human being. Nothing. Not 93,000 people who are dead, not 40 million who are unemployed, not 40 million who may not have health care. Bernie Sanders doesn't have to worry about a revolution. We've got it now. Because if these folks don't get expanded Medicaid, well, there's an easy way to add them to Medicare. You just lower the age of enrollment and you open enrollment to 55 and over. And so then you're worrying about a population, say, in their 20s, late 20s, 30s, and 40s. Most of those folks are usually healthy. And then we could gradually phase in Medicare. This is the way the country's going to go, unless and until we come up with the proper standards of care for everyone, which includes counseling, which includes having a permanent pandemic platform, which includes having infrastructure, connectedness to each other through Wi-Fi, through computers, better transportation for all. Don't worry. Once Trump is out, that GOP won't have to worry about deficits. Deficits can be written off. People can't. And there's no reason to not have people and profits. There's a lot of work to be done in our country. And I, for one, am confident that we can do it without Trump and with stimulus for everyone, giving everyone a fair share of the economic pie. There's a lot to go around, and everyone I know wants clean air and clean water too. So I see a better world without Trump. I don't even think he's salvageable. I don't care what he does. I cannot forgive him for 93,000 deaths, twice as much almost as were killed in Vietnam, and 40 million out of work so far. We may not go back to business as usual, but trust me, there will be business, and we will be employed, and workers will see a better day. So, thank you for listening. Be back next week. You can count on it. And I hope I partially answered my friend's strategy question. Love you, Bob. Thanks for asking. Thanks for keeping me on my toes. And anyone who wishes to comment, hey, just email me at thevoiceofjoyce@earthlink.net. See you next week, and there'll be more to say, I'm sure. God bless you all, and think, what would the scriptures want you to do? If you could go and really walk the walk and talk the talk of all our religions, wouldn't you be a better person, a caring person? And that's why this moment in time makes me sad that so many people that I know are truly suffering. And what can I say except I weep for all of you. Take care, but I know we'll survive and we'll thrive.